All right. Hi, everybody. It is time again with the word for you today. And today is Friday, April 11th. And we've got a passage that obviously I think most of us are familiar with. I took it out of the Sermon on the Mount when Jesus was preaching in Matthew 5:41, where it says, "Whoever forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2." And you know what's interesting about this is not only is a Christian familiar with this, but the whole world to some degrees has a little bit of an idea of what this passage is literally saying. But what does it really mean to us as believers, and why is it so important? That's what we want to see today. You see, the comment was made in reference to the occupying Roman unwanted and despised powers to be. You see, Caesar had appointed this puppet king named Herod. He was famous for amazing building projects, but also for his insecurities, for his manic fits, for his murderous rage. At one time, he slaughtered members of his own family because he felt like they were plotting to overthrow him. Now, at this time, one of his sons was ruling over Israel when Jesus preached these words, and believe me, at this time, Jewish nationalism was at a fevered pitch. Now, the context here, what Jesus was saying is essentially this. He says, if a man asks you to walk 1 mile with him, just do it. Then, however, go ahead and walk a 2nd mile with him. And so this was outrageous to the Jews. This was unheard of. It was shocking to some degree what Jesus was saying here. But Jesus was clearly referring to the Roman law that allowed any Roman soldier to stop a Jewish citizen, a Jewish man on the road, and compel him to drop whatever he was carrying in order to assist the Roman soldier in bearing his load. Or sometimes the Roman soldier could just have simply made the Jew carry his load out of maybe just laziness. Or it could have been just a power trip. It could have been that. But if you didn't walk all the way with that heavy gear, you could be imprisoned by Roman law. So the word used here is angaresu. Okay? And it's used only one time in the entire New Testament, and it's right here talking about walking the Roman mile. And this word means if you're compelled to go. Literally, it means if you are forced to go. However, the law only required the Israelite to carry the load for 1 mile for the soldier, not 2, only 1. So why would Jesus tell people to go beyond what they were forced or required to do? You see, Jesus tells his listeners, listen to this, to go beyond obligation. The 2nd mile is not an obligation. The 2nd mile is an opportunity. We miss the opportunity that most often lies in doing the difficult. So usually we quit too soon. We want to get out by just doing the absolute minimum. We bail out as soon as the obligation is completed. We're looking for the easiest path, and we fail to develop that muscle of endurance to go the 2nd mile. And we miss the opportunity that most often lies in doing the difficult while we're denying our own rest and relaxation. The point in demanding the Jews to walk 2 miles was for them to show the Romans, this is important, it's for them to show the Romans that they were different from them. You see, the children of Israel were operating under a different worldview, one of simplicity, one of godliness, one of goodness. And yet the Romans, they were operating from a worldview of power, conquest, and greed. I love this part. You see, the Romans' hearts could only be won one at a time by simple acts of radical service that was contrary to their expectation. Winning the hearts of the soldiers did not come from Jewish uprising or Jewish revolt, but it came from a desire and freedom to serve your enemy. This testifies to the transforming power of God in our personal soul. The only way for good to overcome evil was to go beyond the expectation. You see, the second mile in our lives makes the Roman world that we live in ask, why would you go that extra distance under such a heavy burden? The second mile opens up conversations that would never have happened in the first mile. You see, the second mile makes us better humans, it makes us better Christians, and it makes us better witnesses. So what we do, we go beyond obligation, and then we will find opportunity when we walk the second mile to share why, to share about our Savior, to share about Jesus and the difference that He's made in our life. You see, we don't worry about bearing the burden, we worry about winning the lost. We can rest when we reach our final destination.